From the smallest village chapels to the most grandiose monasteries, Scottish churches are amongst the most iconic religious structures in the world. This is Praising Scotland, and today I'm in the bustling city of Glasgow, just outside Edinburgh, visiting the Ibrox Presbyterian Church. In an age where godlessness is spreading across the country at an alarming rate, this magnificent building stands proud as a beacon of faith, shining its light and influence upon the peaceful peoples of Ibrox. This is actually the third church to be built here. A temporary wooden church was built here in 1865, and a congregation formed the following year. This church, designed by Angus Kennedy in 1868, replaced the wooden building. The new church was then expanded and improved upon by Bruce and Hay in 1897. Look at the incredible detail of the sandstone arches, perfectly preserved after all these years. Truly, were it not for the cars, you could feel like you had been transported back through time, back to when this magnificent building was first constructed. Now, I was hoping I would find something like this. Now, one can only assume that this window would have been installed in the early 1900s, probably when Catholicism briefly took over ownership of this church. This would have been where they kept the choir boys that they had relations with, and after that story became public knowledge, they would have filled the window in to hide the shame. Now, I'm sure you're just as excited as me to see the indubitably ornate interior of this church. Let's just hope we're not interrupting morning prayer. The f*** are all the religious nutters? So obviously this is a modern take on worship. Surely by scaling these walls, one can get closer to his kingdom. As you can see, the church hasn't completely forgotten its roots. Just take a look at this beautiful stained glass window behind me. With the original 19th century stained glass, depicting oneness between the community and God, you can really feel like you're basking in His glorious light. And no matter what nonsense you put on the walls, you can't escape that magnificent Victorian architecture. Just look at these glorious beams behind me. When I first saw this mess of brown and purple, I'll admit I was sceptical. But now, I truly believe I see what they've achieved here. They've brought a whole community closer to God. Perhaps even walked them up a stairway to heaven. And actually, I've quite enjoyed climbing the mountain of worship.